I think every single person in life should do these few things. One, do something that you can make some money today, whatever that number is. Everybody's at different levels, wherever their day-to-day money is. Two, focus on making some money long term. So in reference to the social media, make some money today where you might be selling a course or selling a product. And three is some type of health. I feel like everybody should do some type of, whether it's drinking a smoothie, going for work, go working out, because that's what's long term. And then four is do something with your family every single day.
What is up, Growth House family? It is your host, Jesse Ray. I'm here with my man, Mr. Derek Boone. What up, Boone?
What's up, bro? How you feeling, man?
Yeah, I'm feeling amazing. Just the energy that we talked before we even got on camera is great. We got connected through one of our mutual friends, Mark with Vomos. I always give people shout outs because, my whole life is around relationships, and you can get so much further in life when you're around the right people, right? So, Mark connected us, and then you said you're out in Philly, and I'm like, I know a dude out in Philly. I mean, he's in Scottsdale now, but Top Dog Law is one of our boys. You guys go way back.
Yes, that's like my brother. Like, it's only a handful of people I use the word brother. That's really like my brother. We lived in the same apartment complex together. One thing I want people to take away just from this one piece is always be willing to go outside of your comfort zone, even if it costs a little bit more, to meet the individuals that you're supposed to be destined with for the rest of your life. So the apartment complex that we lived in was a little bit more expensive because I own real estate. So I was actually living in one of my properties, obviously for free. I lived there, well, not for free, but way cheaper than what rent would be. But it wasn't in the best area for my growth. So I buy a lot of my properties in urban areas. So I just moved into one of them. Like, hey, look, listen, I was damn near free for me. So I said, you know what? I need to go somewhere where I can actually grow and meet other like-minded individuals. In that urban area, I was making the most money on the block, obviously. So I said, I can't keep being cheap myself because I'm gonna be cheap with my results. I moved into a higher-end luxury apartment complex, and that's why I met him. Me and him were still in our early stages. Me and him were both making some moves, but we weren't making the moves we were making now. We became sparring partners. I mean, like, yo, what you doing in your business? What you doing in your business? Yo, I can lift 200. I can lift 200. I can lift 300. I can lift 300. Like, we became like serious friends and sparring partners. And then we went on different countries together, explore. Oh my gosh, like, it's funny because he just was back in Philly. We bumped on had floor seats on the Sixers game. So it's like even now you're bumping. Is a reason why you bumping these people in certain places because that's where you're supposed to be. We're bumping floor seats at the Sixers game. Like, stay in high level environments. You're going to stay bumping in the high level.
Dude, I love that. I love that, man. How important is association to you?
Super important. It's not what you I always believe. It's not what you know, it's who you know. I got way further from people I knew. Like, I don't have the biggest college background. I don't have the biggest background just in general. The thing that got me to the furthest is knowing the right people and making sure I do what I'm supposed to do when I get around those right people.
I love that. We're going to have a fun pod, man. There's so many ways we can take this. What I want to do for the audience is let them know, what does life look like right now for you? I know you got a family, you got kids, so it's not like you just a solo dude out here and building this thing. This is all you work on. So this is impressive. So paint the picture. What does life look like right now for you?
So life looks like right now for me is just amazing. We make money, but I don't want to paint the picture like it's blessed in a financial standpoint. It's blessed in a freedom standpoint. We built the life where we set things up where money is coming a little more passively. We still actively working for money, but it's in a more of a passive way where we get into partnerships. We buying certain properties, doing certain deals, setting up certain systems, setting up certain teams where some days I'm trying to figure out what to do. And then some days I do have more than usual to do, but it's at the life where I can just get up and just move how I want. As you know, when you first get started in business, you're running from morning till night, going on property appointments, showing this, doing this. But now we set up systems and teams and things where, like, it's just right now it's just freedom for me. It's like, hey, after I take my son to school, I have a 3-year-old son, means the world to me. And I told myself that by the time he turns about 4 or 5, I want to be completely retired. Like, I mean, not like retired. Like, I'm talking about like, I'm going to be a full-time football, soccer, chess dad, whatever the hell he wants to do. I got him in some activities now, building them up, but I just want to be full-time where all we do is have the income coming in from wires, payments, different things like that. And I'm just waiting for him to get out of school, and then we can, to each his own. Everybody doesn't want to do that, but that's just me. Like, I realized that a lot of those, let's say Floyd Mayweather, a lot of these bigger time individuals, it started out their parents had them in early and was locked in on building up. So that's my goal. So I got another 2 years of really making some serious change. And obviously I'm not going to stop doing anything, but I want to put this groundwork in strong and build some strong foundation. That way it can build up without me with teams like we talked about, systems and things like that.
That's amazing. Well, take me back, man. Obviously, I feel like you just always had some drive and ambition, but you said you grew up, in an area that maybe wasn't the best environment. So walk me through, like, how'd you get from where you were to where you are now?
Yeah, so I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 31 years old. My birthday, December 17th, born in 1993. I graduated high school in 2011. When I graduated high school, I was working at McDonald's, and I went straight to college. I went to Penn State Abington. The problem where I messed up is, which everything happens for a reason, I went to college and I had a 0.8 GPA. I literally went to the first class and left. I kept doing first class and left. Maybe went to the second class, went to first class, second class, and I left. Just doing dumb stuff, or just going and hanging out, or just doing stuff we're not supposed to be doing, and just not being focused. And it's so funny. You want to know what's so funny? We keep pushing things to the last minute when if we'd have put that same kind of energy from the beginning, we'd be so further along. I heard Alex Hermosi, he said this: stress doesn't come from dealing with stress, comes from not dealing with stuff. And if we realized that we would have attacked it earlier, it wouldn't have been as bad. I put this all to say is, you know why I had a 0.8, 0.9 GPA? Is because I kept getting D's. You know why I got a D? Because at your last test is one letter grade. In college, that final is one letter grade. I was always get like a C or B or D on that final test. So that gave me from an F to a D. What if I would have just been doing what I was doing? I was smart enough to get a C or a B on a final test to bump me up a letter grade. Looking back, it made no sense, but it is what it is. So they actually kicked me out. The dean came to me and said, hey, your academics doesn't fit with our program. You're going to have to leave. The bad part about it is because they kicked back my financial aid 2 years, and they said, you got to pay this back. My family didn't have the money to pay that back. I didn't have the money, so it automatically hit my credit. So right out the gate, 2011, 2012, I had a 500 credit score because I had this crazy collection of about $12,000 because Penn State was $6,000 a semester. I had a crazy collection out the gate. So right out the gate, I didn't have a lot of money, didn't have a lot of credit, but I worked at this retirement home after that. I was making $10 an hour, and I was making about $600, $700 every 2 weeks. And then it kind of hit me like, all right, this just can't be life. I'm not really feeling this. And I feel like everybody has to have their fed up moment. Their fed up moment is when your back is against the wall and you're either going to go ahead and fight back or you're going to just keep folding. I had this moment where I worked all this overtime and my check was the same check as my manager's, but I lived at the job. I was doing 3 shifts a day. It was like 2 weeks. I literally lived at the job. I worked overnight, and I just let me stay at one of the cottages there at the retirement home, and then I would clock back, wash up, clock back in. I'm like, I can't live like this. So I said I got to give something a shot. And the reason why I have real estate classes, we probably touch on that, is because I went to one that changed everything for me. I went to this real estate class. The guy was just talking about house hacking and stuff like that. And he basically said, you should do it this. And he was just someone that I saw that was living the life that I wanted to live. He was making good money. He was young. He had everything going on. And I was like, you know what? It just resonated with me. So I asked him after the class, said, yo, I want you to be my mentor. How can I help? And the one thing I want everybody to understand is no matter who you seek advice from, if they're giving you advice and you're seeking advice from them, actually do what they say. Otherwise you're wasting your time. I went to him. He said, you should try to be a real estate agent. I said, bro, I didn't come here for that. This was a class about how to buy houses, buy duplex. It was a multifamily class. And I'm like, he said, yo, you should try that because I own 1 2-bed, 1-bath, single family house already. That's the house I was living in. And he was like, yo, you should really give this a shot. And I'm like, nah, I'm trying to figure out how to do this. He said, no, really give this a shot. I did it. I took the classes. It was 2 months. Being a real estate agent is 2 parts, like Real Estate 101 and Real Estate 102. And you take the state and nationwide test. The classes I passed, no problem. The state and nationwide test, I failed it 9 times. I'm not going to lie. I kept failing it by a point or two. So you had to have like a 75 or 80%. I kept getting like a 76, 70. Like every one, I kept failing it by a point or two. And then after a while, how it works is you keep going, I'm going to pass the next time by a point. I'm going to pass the next time. And then I was like, all right, let me actually study for this. Then it took me long enough, but I finally studied for it because I kept scheduling it. After you fail, they give you a couple of days and then they let you reschedule. So I kept doing it every week. Just kept going. The smartest and dumbest thing possible. Like it clearly, after 7 times, the crap didn't work out. So then I finally studied and then finally passed it. Long story short, I finally got licensed with my real estate license March 2017. I sold my first house the end of April 2017, and that's because of mentorship. I DM'd everybody that was doing real estate, and I just said, hey, I would love to take you out to lunch. I'm a new real estate agent, and this is what people can't be scared to go ahead and actually start and reach out for advice, reach out for help. Majority of people said no, I'm cool, nor it left me on scene. And I had two individuals that said, yeah, we can go to lunch. Went to lunch. They gave me some information to help me do my first deal from April 2017 to December 2017. I sold about 20 some houses. Yeah, so I made a nice bunch of money that first year. The next year, I doubled it. The next year, I doubled that, built a team, had agents under me. We was selling a bunch of houses. And that's when I started stepping back and said, hey, look, listen, I'm going to refer all you guys my deals. We'll do a split. And then now I'm getting paid off of their deals. I don't have to do any more deals. I'm getting paid off my own deals and they get a piece of it. And that's when I started like getting my life back a little bit, because now I don't have to rip and run, show houses and sell houses all day. But the transition is I bumped into this guy and he said he made $17,000 doing a deal in 30 days. And I did a deal, I made an $8,000, $9,000 commission. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? I had a suit on every day. He had basketball shorts and sweatpants on every day. So what the hell are you doing? And he said he does wholesaling. Never knew what that was. This was 2019. Never knew what wholesaling was. And that's when he explained it to me. I did my first deal. It was $4,000. The easiest $4,000 I've ever made in my life. I sent 2 text messages, closed the deal, just playing middleman made for it. Changed my entire life. At that point, I referred all my realtor deals out and I strictly just wholesale, made a bunch of money wholesaling. And then I had a month where I had about $60,000 in transactions. Just terminate, buyer backs out, title, typical stuff. That's when I had that moment where I said, I never want to have to make new money and start over all over again. Every month you're always going to have to make new money, but I didn't want to start over all over again. So I said, I'm going to buy houses where I'm going to have rent coming in regardless. If I don't make any money or not, I still got my rent, so my car note, still got this covered. And that's when I transitioned to buying houses, renting out properties, flipping properties, and just transitioned to hold an ownership model.
I love it. I think it's an interesting concept because I feel like when I first got started in real estate, my whole thing was like, I was in corporate sales, saved up all my money, started investing into real estate. And I was like, passive income. And that was the only thing I focused on. And then once I hit like, 10K of passive income per month, I'm like, all right, I'm good. But then you realize you can't continue really scaling with just hitting that. So then you got to go back to the active income. So you mentioned earlier too, kind of that active versus passive. Was that your mindset? You're like, hey, I want to hit a certain goal for, passive income. So then I can take some chips off the table. I can pay my car note and then kind of do something else. Or what was that mindset that you had when it comes to, those two categories?
My mindset was, it's funny you said that. My mindset was always to get to a number of passive income. So life is all about having options. I truly believe that. Options and doing what you feel like. A lot of us can't do what we feel like doing because we constantly have to do what we have to do. Dang, I want to go to, this conference, but I can't because I'm stuck doing what I have to do, working, doing all this stuff. So once you have enough passive income coming in, you can then not stress about today money. You can focus on tomorrow money. So I wanted to set myself up to where I had enough income coming in, passively, where I can say, you know what, I can work on this move that might take 6 months, but make me $1 million. I'm working this might take 3 months, but make me this amount of money versus, oh, I got to make $1,000 now. I got to make $500 now. And that's what happens. A lot of people, they stress to make quick day-to-day money because they don't have money coming in consistently so they can focus on the bigger picture.
Yeah. And they're playing out of scarcity instead of abundance, I think is another thing and also, especially if you have clients, you don't have to accept every client because you're not like, oh man, their money. Like not all money is good money.
Exactly. No, I don't feel like, working with you. And that's fine. But when you kind of like stressed, like I got to take on every single person.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. So what does the portfolio look like now? Is it a mix, commercial, some residential?
Yeah, so we have commercial mixed use properties. We have residential single family properties, and then we have multifamily properties. And then I have a bunch of lots that I'm excited we're about to finally start building on. For the last couple of years, I've just been buying different lots. I'm going to be honest, the only reason I haven't built on these lots before, I actually went and got permits and plans on 2 lots. And then it's kind of like, what do I want to say? I got permits and plans on 2 lots and kind of like didn't do anything with them. And the reason why I didn't do anything, kind of like a scared. Sometimes, I'll be honest, even us real estate investors, even us business owners, we get a little scared too. Like, hold up, I'm so used to doing rehabs and stuff like that. Like,
yeah, it's outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, jumping into this new build. Sometimes we don't realize we push the things we should be doing to the side to focus on the stuff we're more comfortable with. So I let these permits and plans expire on these 2 lots and then a bunch of other lots that I had. And then I just finally said, you know what, this year I'm going to stop being scared. I'm going to go ahead and jump on this new build, new construction game. Because everyone I talk to that's in the new build at the higher level, they're like, yo, like what we do in my rehabs, I'll literally tear down everything but the front wall. Or I might tear down the front wall too, rebuild everything up. And they're like, yo, you're already doing new construction except the excavation and everything. They're like, you're already doing new builds, I would extend the house back some. So they're like, yo, you're already doing it. Just stop being scared. Stop bitching.
No, I hear you on that. So you started the development, or is that a project for 2025?
No, well, I'm about to start. Actually, the permit just got. I was able to pick up the permit last week, so I'm about to start.
Let's go. I'm excited to hear
I'm gonna
about
do.
that,
I'm gonna
man.
do about two. I got a bunch of lots, but I'm gonna do like two at the time. Let that flow, and then I'm gonna just take it in from there. I'm not gonna
I
develop
love
on
it.
all the lots I have right now.
Got it. Let's switch topics. Let's talk about marketing. That's something that I think I mentioned to you. When we talk about marketing, you kind of have an expertise in this. People reach out all the time, like, man, there's not too many people that have these gems in marketing. Like, for you, I guess, what is something that you see over and over again where you're like, people are doing marketing wrong?
When it comes to marketing, people are doing marketing wrong in the way of marketing. I don't want to say marketing, but talking about what they want to talk about instead of actually talking about what people want to hear, what people want to know about. Even with me, like we do coaching, we help people, entrepreneurs get started in a real estate business, or help entrepreneurs get started in a real estate business. And what I realized, I started out only teaching people about wholesaling because I thought that's what people wanted to know about. And then I actually stopped for a moment and did a poll and actually asked, like, what exactly do y'all want to learn about? So many people said, hey, I love that you're teaching me about wholesaling, but I want to talk about the other stuff you do. Because I would teach about wholesaling, but then post me at Home Depot or post me my contractors fixing up this house. They're like, no, I want that. And I would ignore it all the time. Then I finally sat and listened. The poll was through the roof. People were like, yo, I want to learn about fixing and flipping or building rental properties and things like that. And that's what a lot of people fail to do. They're talking about what they feel like talking about instead of actually listening to the client, listening to the customer and seeing what they exactly want. So what I advise people when it comes to marketing, throw out a little poll on Instagram, throw out a poll to your community already, throw out a little poll on Facebook, whatever your audience is at, and figure out exactly what people want. So now when you structure your service or structure your offer or structure your product, it sounds like divine alignment because they're like, yo, how does he know what exactly I've been thinking about? Because I asked
you. Right.
Yeah.
It's funny because that even ties back to, some of the masterminds I've hosted in the past. Like the first one, I didn't have an onboarding questionnaire. So I just picked our own topics and everyone's like, all right, this is really cool, but there's so many other topics I want to talk about. And so, yeah, poll your audience, know who your people are. It's so important. Social media, you have a pretty big brand there on Instagram. Is that the main platform that you use?
Yeah, we just started tapping into YouTube over the last couple of months and it's going good, but Instagram is the main platform.
What kind of marketing, I guess, social media tips would you have with that? I've heard a lot of people saying, hey, you don't need to do talking head, more like document the journey no matter where you're at. Is that something that you've kind of decided to implement? And when did you start doing that?
Yo, it's so funny you say that because it's the truth. One of my friends told me this years ago, and I didn't start really listening to him until like a year later. He said more people are trying to get from 0 to 1 than they are trying to get from 8 to 10. So you may say, like, let's say, for example, you may be scared to promote your podcast or something like that because you're like, yo, I don't have 1 million subscribers. I'm not the biggest podcaster ever, so I'm not that big. Well, there are more people trying to hear about what you have going on because you're more relatable, you're closer to everyone versus the Kai or the whoever that's at that high level. Not to say you're not going to get there, but at this point, like for example, my friend told me when I first was trying to, talk about the real estate stuff, I was like, well, I don't have 200 houses yet. He was like, they're probably not relatable to that individual. And I was like, dang, I didn't think about it. So one, double back what you said, be yourself and explain your journey and talk about just be you. I tried at one point, I was trying to do marketing like someone else and people could see through like that's not really. Then when I started just being me and just documenting my journey and explaining what I have going on, it worked a whole lot better. So one, I would say just be you. Two, identify who your audience is, the demographic and the time. So one of the things that helped me build out my social media is I found out what my demographic was. How many more women follow you versus men or vice versa? What are the age groups? What part of the city they're in? Not part of the city, what part of the world they're in? What part of the country they're in? Men versus women. Look what times are people getting on. Are they getting on 8 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, 6 o'clock at night? So you can schedule your post that way. Understanding how people feel and test this stuff. What kind of feelings people have versus at those different times. So for example, if you have a product or service you want someone to to opt into, it's better to try to get them to make those type of posts at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night versus 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It may be better to try to get people to opt into something at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning before they're starting their day and they're really kind of locked in. So what we would do is we would do something, maybe an opt-in something, or maybe some type of value content or something that can really they can digest and kind of start their day off in the morning. In the afternoon, maybe just something funny or something just to pick me up, just something to get the day going. And then, hey, I'm having this, or I'm selling this, or I'm offering this going into the later evening when people are sitting down, they can actually tap into that. Also, one of the things that we started doing is, I got this from my mentors a long time ago, infomercials thing. So basically, post some of your content that when you want people to opt into late at night, people are up on their phone, fully away, no distractions going on, so they can opt into those things like that. So that's something that you can scale. Like, okay, these are some social media things that, because it's one thing just document your journey, of course, do, but how can I scale? Those are some little tips and tactics that you can utilize to kind of like scale what you're going to go ahead and do, and also like track things. And another thing is always have some type of call to action. I associate social media with, like, let's say like dating. You date a woman, she wants to make sure you take charge. So you have to do that with every aspect in life. You can't just say go pull up. Imagine you with this girl and you ask her like, hey, what do you want to eat? I don't know. It never gets, but you say, hey, look, I'm on my way, get dressed, want to go to Roof Chris Steakhouse. I need you to make sure you're done by 8 o'clock. After that, we're gonna go here. Everything happens exactly how you planned. Same thing with social media. Hey, look, this is what we have going on. What I want you guys to do is send me a DM saying the word podcast, and then I'm gonna go ahead and send you this. And then after you get that, I want you to go ahead and opt in. I'm gonna see you at 6 o'clock. And then it usually follows out like that because you actually not just put in call to action, but you're explaining every step what you want them to do.
I love it. Talk to me about some of the big wins that you've gotten from social media. Obviously, you have a coaching program. Outside of coaching program and people like being like, yeah, I want to be a part of what you're doing, I need some mentorship. Have you been able to get deals from social media? What are some other like big wins?
And in reference to like social media itself, we won awards, like we won ClickFunnels awards, and different things like that. That's the front face of the social media, making money and winning those type of awards. But the behind the scenes of social media has helped us. I have taught a lot of people how to buy houses, wholesale houses, and things like that. So now I have literally bought and sold deals with a bunch of people on social media, mentees that I helped, and I have partnered with people on flips on deals. Like, for example, I literally just sent one of my listings, got pictures got taken today, and that is something I partnered with a mentee. Like, literally, like, I didn't know them before this. Partnered with a mentee, we partnered together on this deal, and now we're about to flip it, make a bunch of money. He's gonna make money, I make money, and then also now this is gonna be his first deal. And now with him being on his operating agreement, with him being a part of this, now he just went ahead and got a second deal on the contract. The funny thing is, I'm wholesaling him that, so it leads to a whole bunch more. So the front face is, we win like ClickFunnels awards and make money on the front face, but the behind the scenes, now we can start doing deals. You putting together your own deal flow and pipeline and pool just with people that you help on social media.
I love that because a lot of people, like, obviously everyone who listens to the podcast knows like the power of mentorship, joining communities. I always preach like, hey, go find your people, go get the help, because to do it by yourself is going to take you way longer. Mm-hmm. So, I love that. But I think that's really some of the beauty behind the scenes of all these communities. Is like, especially if you're leading it or if you're just with other people, like, hey, I need help on this deal. Boom, you have all these people that can help you. Hey, I'm looking for a buyer. Guess what? Your mentor is probably looking to buy the deal. So boom, it's a win-win for both of you.
I bought deals off of mentees, sold deals of mentees, partner with mentees, wholesale deals with mentees, in between mentees. I think every single person in life should do, these few things. One, do something that you can make some money today, whatever that number is, $100, $1,000, $3,000, $10,000, whatever. Everybody's at different levels, wherever their day-to-day money is. Two, focus on making money long term. So in reference to the social media, make some money today where you might be selling a course or selling a product, selling some type of service. Then the money long term is cultivating this person, teaching this person, so now y'all can do a deal later down the road. And three is some type of health. I feel like everybody should do some type of, whether it's drinking smoothie, going for work, walk, go working out, because that's what's long term. And then four is do something with your family every single day. Like me, I only have one kid right now, so me is just giving him some undivided attention every single day. Those are my four. I have to do them every single day.
I love it. I want to stay here on family because I have a question that I wrote down. Balancing family and business. I'm single. I'm traveling all over. I don't have any kids yet, but I know that's going to be something that I'll be like, man, how do these guys do it? Even for example, the guy Chris Ronzio, who I went with a hike at 5:45 a.m. He's got wife, multiple kids, in a 9-figure business. I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I don't have enough time, but that guy has half the time. And he still gets it all done. So I want to ask your advice on this balance between having a family, being an amazing husband, being an amazing dad, and also scaling and growing your business.
When it comes to balancing life, family, from personal life to family life to business life, is setting clear boundaries and standards. That's the only way it's going to get done. What I've come to realize is that people mold to whatever your foundation, your rock is. Like a glove, people wrap around, but your fist, your rock is your foundation. That's your immovables. Like, I'm not budging on this. The problem is your movables change so much, so people change so much. Like, for example, I take my son to school every morning, so he has to be to school by 9:15. He can't come after 9:15. So if you ask me, hey, let's do this pod at 9 o'clock, my answer is going to be clean. Hey, I can't do it. We can do it maybe at 9:30, 9:45. I'm gonna take him to school, and then that's gonna give me some time to get back to the house so I can go and do X, Y, and Z. You're not mad at me. I'm not mad at you. It's clear. The problem is we say yes to too many things we know we can't say no to, and that's where it gets up. If I would have openly said, hey, that time doesn't work, you wouldn't have been pissed. You know what, let's just figure out how we can line this up. So that's the first thing, getting rid of that first level. And then there's always that second level where you come into like some great amazing opportunities where it just, like, for example, your conference, you can't move the date for me, so that's just a move. That's your immovable. It has to be on this day. But then that's when it comes to what I always tell men. This is what I tell men a lot, is making sure your day to day, your week to week is so structured and so loving and so set up to where when you do need support, to go ahead and, hey, look, listen, I can't be super dad or super boyfriend or super husband, whoever you are this week, because I got to go ahead and do something that's going to provide for us. It's okay, because I've been the super guy for the last couple weeks, last couple months. What I've found to realize for a lot of, especially entrepreneurs, is when they finally get asked to go to that amazing conference that's going to change their life, the back home is mad because it's like, yo, you've been at every amazing conference for the last 6 months. We haven't really seen you. So being honest, okay, look, listen, I'm going to make sure I'm eating dinner at the table with everybody. I'm gonna make sure I take you to school every single day. I'm gonna make sure we go on a date every single week. I'm gonna make sure that we hang out sometime during the week. I'm gonna make sure we do something, so when I finally do go to that conference, it seems like, oh shoot, he deserves that. He's always taking care of us right here. So that's why I would say, kind of make sure your immovables is always solid, and make sure when you do carve out that time, be present in that time. So now your loved ones feel like, no, you should go because you're always here. That's what I honestly think.
Man, so good. And that's something that I've heard from a lot of people that have a successful family dynamic where they say, hey, a lot of people spend time with their family, but being present
Exactly.
while you're there is huge. Because I could totally see even, myself, all right, I'm gonna be on my phone doing stuff while also hanging out with my little brother. Like, nah, Jesse, like you don't have that many times that you hang out with your little brother. So be there fully present. And so I feel like that's something that I wanted to highlight with what you just said.
Yeah, you might be with your, whether it's a wife, girlfriend, kid, whoever, for only 30 minutes a day. But if you make that 30 minutes, the 30 minutes, when you're gone for, I learned this the hard way and the good at the same time. When I first was getting started in real estate, I was working every day, all day, 7 days a week. And it was to the point where it was so crazy where I was about to be single. It's like, yo, this is just not work. You're working all day, every day. So I said, you know what? I'm going to give you 1 day a week, and we're just going to this is our day. The other 6 didn't care if I came home or not, because I made sure that 1 day was undivided. So if more entrepreneurs do stuff like that, I feel like it's going to be a lot easier to maneuver.
But yeah, Derek, I want to mention something that, a lot of us don't like to share, or we don't share just because of the environment that we live in, especially on social media. Everyone just shares their highlights, right? Everything looks like our lives are absolutely always perfect, especially if they look at mine. I'm looking at mine. I'm like, I want to share more behind the scenes because I'm just on trips all the time. It's like, that's not real life. Like we
Yeah.
have stuff that goes sideways. We have failures. We have learning lessons. So I want you to share what's one of the biggest learning lessons, failures that you've had, and how'd you bounce back from it?
One of the biggest, So I'm gonna talk on a real estate aspect, and I'm gonna talk on a like social media marketing brand aspect. One of the biggest mistakes, I don't regret anything, because you learn from everything. But one of the biggest mistakes that I made was, sometimes you can overinvest. I had this season where I just had a lot of money. You did a couple good deals, you made a couple good moves, did a couple, good things, and then it brought back a lot of income. So one thing that we do is, when people make money, the goal is to reinvest. Well, sometimes reinvesting should be done at a scalable level. Like, for example, if anybody is familiar with Facebook ads, you don't just go from running a $500 ad and then bump it up to 10,000. It don't work like that. You got to gradually 20%, 20. You got to gradually raise it up. Otherwise, it's not the return not going to be to what you think it's going to be. You thought it worked at that point. It don't work like that no more. Just because you made a whole bunch of money on a few deals, they don't mean you go ahead and buy 20 the next month. That's what I did. I made a bunch of money, and then I started just buying. For example, those lots I was telling you about, I just was buying a bunch of lots, 20 grand, 30 grand, 50 grand, 80 grand, 100 grand. I just was buying them, but not really knowing what I was doing. It's just, I got money, let me just buy it. So I got to a point where I literally almost cleared my account buying assets. It's not 100% the bad thing, because I bought real physical assets, so I still had the equity, I would say, but it's a thing being house rich and cash poor. So I bought a whole bunch of assets, and then not every deal you can turn over in 30 days. Some deals take months, some deals take 6 months, sometimes some deals take a year, some deals may take 2 years. So you drop 200 grand, 100 grand, 300 grand on something, and then you're like, man, I'm gonna get that back in 3 months. It don't always work out like that. For sure, don't always work out like that. So that's one of the mistakes I made. And I tell people all the time, like, take your time when you're doubling down and reinvesting. Always bet on yourself, but also be realistic. Like, hey, I may not flip this house in 30 days like I'm expecting to do. I may not build a new construction in 9 months like I expected to do. So just think about different things, because you don't put yourself in the jam where your day-to-day lights and stuff are affected because you cleared your account into putting this one deal, and affect your home, your family, especially you got kids and things like that. That's the first thing I would say. And then the second thing I would say, be mindful of stress in partnerships. Sometimes we end partnerships, or sometimes we end opportunities we have because we burnt out. I heard Alex Hermosi say this. We're burnt out because we're doing a lot of things that we should not be doing, or we're doing a lot of things that's just not working over and over again. Because like, let's say, for example, you're boxing, you keep swinging a haymaker, you keep missing, you're burning stuff out. But if it's connecting, you can keep throwing it. It's connecting. So one of the things I did was, I had partnerships where we ended them, and we're making great money. We're making great money, but you're getting stressed out, or you're getting burnt out because you were taking on responsibilities you shouldn't have been taking on, instead of having a communication, and that leads to things terminating. So let's say, for example, me and you have a great relationship. We put together this 7-figure business, but then instead of like communicating better with you, I'm doing all this work behind the scenes. Let's say, for example, you're just recording. I'm behind the scenes editing and everything, setting everything up, calling the people, doing all this. And I put together this type of, like, man, this is burnt. I don't want to do this no more. Now we mess up a 7-figure business, when actually I could have just said, hey, look, let's split up some of these tasks a little bit. That's what business owners do a lot. We end up ending something, instead of, it could have been a conversation and taking some little bit of load off my plate, and I share with you. And you could have been sitting there thinking this whole time, like, dang, I don't do a whole lot. Maybe I should help him, but he never asked, so I'm not going to say nothing. Maybe he likes doing all that. Yeah. So I had 2 situations where I ended a very good business opportunity, but things like that, I'm thinking that they're having issues, I'm having issues. Instead of communicating, we just kind of like let it just terminate, which wasn't the best thing. And then the other thing, when it comes to real estate, I overinvested a little too early. I made all my money back, but it took longer than I wanted. So I was in a financial bind while I was building, rebuilding, rehabbing, refinancing, flipping, renting, until all that inventory was completed.
No, I appreciate those examples and just being transparent to share, because, like I said, not too many people want to share about their losses, but that's where you learn the most. And
Yeah.
I'm honestly grateful for all mine, because I'm like, all right, they would have probably happened this down the road with bigger dollar amounts. So I might as well have them happen now.
Oh yeah, my friend always say, you want to fail fast as possible. The quicker you fail, the quicker you can go learn. The quicker you learn, and the quicker you can earn. But if you take too long to fail, then you just pushing back the possibility to fix whatever issue you're gonna have.
100%. Talk to me as we wrap up about your coaching program and who's that for?
So the coaching program we have right now is called the Funded and Closed Academy. We pretty much doing 2 tiers. So we have a monthly school community, which is $47 a month, and we have coaches that teach every single Tuesday. One on wholesale, one on fix and flips, one on becoming a first-time home buyer. If you just want to buy your, primary house. And then we have a coaching call on business credit. And we have a coaching call on credit. So every single week is a different call with a different coach. And then we have monthly calls with me where we do Q&A. We kind of just get on there. You can ask me whatever you want. But it's very self-sufficient. It's at your own pace. You can do it pretty much how you want. You can get on the calls, not get on the calls. We have a bunch of courses on investing, on wholesaling, on business credit, on I'm also have an event-based business where people, book our space to have their own conferences, where they have their own networking events, where they have their own birthday parties, dinners, and all stuff like that. And we have courses on that. That's our monthly, which is really, really great. A lot of people tap into that. And then we have our 6-month coaching program, which is a little bit different. This is all me, where we're kind of like locked in. Hey, what did you do? Hey, did you buy that house or did you sell it? What's going on? Matter of fact, share your screen, pull up the results. How many people did you call this? What's going on? That's a little more hands-on. So this is more like it's called our inner circle, but it's called the learn and execute. You got to learn and you got to execute. The other one, you can learn. You do it at your own pace. It's like the kindergarten community. Like, hey, we're going to give you all the information and you get up and walk when you feel like it. No rush. Like this is like, what have you been doing this week? What's going on? Matter of fact, unmute yourself. I'm calling on you today. And that one is really good. And then I bring on like higher tier special guests. Like we actually have one of our coaching calls at night. I'm bringing on my guy is like beast in wholesaling, like virtual wholesaling nationwide, a beast. He's coming on, so I bring on those type individuals only for this inner circle. So those are the two programs that we have.
That's amazing. People are definitely gonna want to tap in. Best way to reach out to you, Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram. You just send me a DM, DSBOONE. You can just send me a DM. I'm always in the DMs. And then I have a team member that in the DMs maybe overnight while I'm asleep, but we're always in.
That's amazing. So our community, as you know, is a go-giver community. So if anyone reaches out and says, hey, can I pick your brain or take you for coffee? Like that's not my people. My people are going to provide some kind of value to you first. So what's something, could be small or could be something big that you're either looking for or can provide you value before they ask you any question?
Even if I don't personally go ahead and buy it, it's something, an opportunity, maybe I can pass it on to somebody in my community, and then that way you're helping me, but it's helping them, so it helps everybody. So deals. That's pretty. I think sharing opportunities is the best way you can help somebody. Hey, I have this opportunity, or deal have this opportunity. Is another podcast for you, like whatever it is. As long as the opportunity, no matter how big or how small it is, I think that's the best way to kind of give.
I love it, man. And then shout out your podcast. You got a podcast in person, got the whole deal going. So shout that out because I want my people to go follow you and your pod.
So it's on YouTube. You can just search Funded and Closed. It's called the Funded and Closed podcast. It's amazing. It's been going amazing so far. It's literally just about sharing individuals like yourself. I would love to have you on, and other individuals that just built the business from ground up, and they're making 7, 8, 9 figures doing what they're doing. It's majority real estate based, but I sprinkle in other businesses as well, and it's been doing amazing so far.
I love it, man. The last question, probably the most important. I saw you do this question on your story. How much should someone pay for a haircut? Let's be real.
Yo, it's funny. We was going over that. I think the most is like $100. I think like between $50 and $100, $40 and $100. I think when you start going over like $100, it's large. I seen someone had posted and they commented. They said I paid $225. I'm like,
that's just stupid.
That don't even mean anything. Like, all right, at this point, you just doing it just to do it. I think $100 is like max. It's like super max. Like that's my haircut plus the tip included. Like that's anything over that is just like is a little overkill. But 200, 150, that's just like. But what people are doing now, they're like, hey, the cut's 200 and it comes with the facial. I don't need all that. Just
bro, they be trying to upsell you, dog.
I don't need all that. Like, I don't need you to upsell me. Like, how much is just the cut? That's all I need. The haircut, so I can go about my day.
Bro, not gonna lie, my cut was already going long. I was already paying something pretty high, and then he put the towel over my face for like more stuff. I took it off. I said, "No, we done." Don't be trying to charge me.
Nah, like hell no. Because the next thing you know is, that was 50. I never asked you for that. Oh, we use a.
I thought it was a service. Like, yeah.
I just wanted a haircut, man. If I want a facial, I'm gonna go to the spa. I'm gonna get that done over there. Other than that, please just cut my hair. That's all I need.
I love it. The only way to justify a little bit more is if they go to you. But even there, like 150 maybe max if they go to your spot.
Exactly. or an emergency, like, hey, I've really got to go to Arizona for this event.
Yeah,
Can
I
you
need
just
you in an hour.
Yeah, can you come here? I got a flight at 8 a.m. Can you come at 6? Then 150, 200, man, you're paying for a lot of different reserves. But if I'm coming to you, going to the barbershop, getting it done, like 200 is crazy. 200 is crazy.
We're on the same page, man. That's good. Hey, Growth House family, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you, Derek Boone, for hopping on and just providing so much value, brother.
Thank you. Before we close, I want to give you your flowers. I appreciate you for allowing me to come on and talk to your community. I appreciate you for just doing this. I think this is dope. Anybody that has, podcasts or just a way for other people to learn. I personally 100% believe the only way to get to the next level is to learn from people that's already doing it. I'm not saying that college is a scam. I'm not saying college is bad, because obviously we need doctors, we need lawyers. But entrepreneurial, the only way you're going to get to the next level is by going to individuals that's doing it. And the fact of the matter is everyone doesn't have those individuals in their family. So now you're providing an opportunity where, okay, I don't have an 8-figure, 9-figure entrepreneur inside of my house, but hey, look, I can make him in my house by going on YouTube and watching his podcast. So you probably realize, or if you don't, I was gonna let you know, you're changing a lot of lives. You changed my life already. You don't even know it. You said you're gonna connect me with certain people, meeting you, and I'm excited for what we about to do in the future. So I just wanted to give you your flowers on that.
I appreciate it. That means a lot. And I'm excited to see you in Scottsdale in a couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a super good time.
Absolutely. All right, man.